Welcome back to the competitive speed series.
The absolute carnage on this final lap. 5 red lights here in Miami. Can they regain that place?
I cannot believe my eyes.
Who comes out on top? Down the inside into Casio Triangle. This could end in disaster.
Zach Miles taking the lead. It was an all or nothing approach for the TF10 team.
And this could be crucial for NBR.
A race to remember with Jeremy Gallagher.
And they are officially the champions of the season.
It does not get closer than that. What a race. What a season. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Competitive Speed Series. I can see I'm peaking a little bit, so I'm just going to turn myself down. Maybe it's the excitement getting to me just that little bit too early, but you can't blame me. It's yet another round of racing, and this time taking us to probably one of the most difficult circuits on the entire calendar, the Jeddah Corniche circuit. But first and foremost, it's the man who's built into the woodwork, and as always, alongside me and in his competitive Speed Series jersey this week, it is the one, the only Frost. Firstly, my friend, how are you?
Well, I'll not be fired this week, that's for sure, because I'm wearing the shirt again, so that's good.
Yes.
Good to be back, though. It's the penultimate round, isn't it?
Yes, I am. It's so good to be nearly at the end of a season. It's been a really good season so far. I am super looking forward to the end of this one as well. It's going to be such a crazy ride, I think, these last couple of rounds up until the end of the season. I'm really looking forward to it, and we still got 2 amazing rounds to go. This round obviously being round 11 in Saudi Arabia, and then Abu Dhabi to round off the season. I think we're in for a real treat to finish off.
We are, because as it stands, the gap between the 2 leading teams, FVR and TF10, is 53 points in favor of the TF10 team. And that means they can technically claim the championship tonight if they can outscore FVR by 15 points this round. So they're going to have to do everything in their power to make that happen. And of course, FVR is going to do the exact same thing, only to make sure they can still keep the gap manageable until the final round of the race. It's definitely possible for TF10 to claim it tonight because they've been strong all season, but FVR are strong as well. So yeah, it's pretty much anybody's game. It really depends on how well they qualify and how well they race tonight.
Yeah, we've got a really good one on our hands. There are the standings flashing on your screen. And as you say, TF10 can win the championship tonight. And I think that's going to be the one thing we're keeping a huge eye on. Sorry for the delay on that. I may or may not have had the graphic loaded on the broadcast, so had to quickly sort that one out. But yeah, a lot of movement happening in the tail end of this season, and a lot of teams impressing and making a few shock moves. I mean, Aversio up to 7th now. They really have made a bit of a wriggle on in this championship right at the tail end of the season.
Yeah, they are, and they're doing really quite well. It's because of the results of the last few races, of course. The troubling team of tonight, of course, is ABS. Not only because they are at the bottom of the table, but also they have to serve a double qualifying ban, and that's really going to hurt their chances to try and get rid of that cursed last position. Vroom, aka VRM, is just ahead of them at 115 points, so just, 24 points in between them. It's going to be a struggle for them, though, to make it happen. As for P4, ET8 and NLR are still very close. Of course, NLR won last week's surprise race, Mystery Grand Prix, that is, which was quite amazing to see. At long last, they've gotten the job done. So yeah, there's a lot of fights going around in the standings, both at the bottom, in the middle, and at the top as well, which is going to be interesting. Allow me to introduce the drivers of tonight real quick. We're still missing one, but everybody else is pretty much in the grid, in the lobby as we speak. For TF10, the leading team, we've got Joël Marcard and Thomas Laminen, a familiar name there in the Red Bull car. For AMR, I'm so lagging tonight, not sure why. Alex Lamas and Christophe Godor in the Haas cars. TTM have got Passy, okay, Pascal Sankbeil, and Dennis Langrock in the Ferraris. Then ABS, I so far have Marvin Golm and Patrick Pillis. ET8 have gotten tonight with Giovanni Lanzoni and Leonardo Tonelato, both of the Italian country right there. As for VRM, French as usual, Theo Bonnes and Tristan Derbicourt. We've got FVR with Kidon Lutt and Alexi Cavero, and I just noticed that the last driver of EVE is joined, so Minjake and Takubi for the Alpine EVE team. And then, of course, what else remains? It's NLR with Jensen Rosen and Po Villegas, and TES have brought in Victor Garcia. And where's the other one? There he is, Paul Adolphs. So that rounds off the grid fully.
Yes, 20 drivers taking to the circuit. A few qualifying bans to note, but nothing too major really to report on that front. But we have got action about to kick off around the Jeddah Corniche circuit. It looks like we've got 20 drivers in the lobby, which is always a good and positive start. And if TF10 can outscore FVR by 15 points, they will seal the title tonight. If not, it will be taken to the final round at Abu Dhabi. And I'm not going to be there for the final round at Abu Dhabi, so part of me hopes that TF10 do take it tonight, but it's always good when the championship goes down to the last lap.
Oh well, let's see. I believe they're readying up at the moment, and that means 18 minutes of qualifying is coming up right now, followed by 25 laps after a lobby restart. Let's see who's going to claim a pole position in tonight's round. As for the weather, of course, don't expect too many surprises. It's most likely going to be dry all throughout the race, as it's Saudi Arabia, pretty much one big desert right there, and very little rain to be found in the country. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a good one, whatever happens. We might see some drama, especially between the top two teams. We've seen drama plenty of times in between them throughout the entire season, and some more might just happen tonight. So yeah, let's find out what's going to happen.
Yes, indeed. We'll be taking you trackside in just a moment. I've been desperately trying to fix your weird camera. I don't know why it keeps lagging, but it's just having...
It's on my end. I've just had to close down team telemetry because it was lagging me and the game and the camera badly.
Oh, wow. That is not ideal. And it's not ideal start for Marvin Golm, who's already left the lobby. But let's take you trackside. 18 minutes to qualifying, kicking its way to your screens now. I'm looking forward to this qualifying session a lot. These drivers... They really do throw a lot of surprises every time we go racing. And I have no doubt that tonight will not be an exception to that rule.
No, not at all. Paul Adolphs first out on track. A track with 27 corners, 3 DRS zones, and basically just a whole lot of walls being very close to the track. Of course, a notorious bit is coming up at this moment as we follow Paul. We just saw it right there, that particular curb to the left. You can easily just slid over it and get yourself in a whole lot of trouble, especially in qualifying, in which case it will be almost certain you're going to invalidate the lap. And of course, other nasty corners around here, especially the turn coming up, which is turn 16. Can you believe how many corners there are? It's quite incredible. Right here, gotta nail it, otherwise you might go into the wall. And then, of course, the famous turn 27, where in 2021, the Dutchman Max Verstappen ruined a chance at pole position in his title fight. But first and foremost, Paul Adolphs coming up to the line soon.
Yes, indeed. The Williams car wanting to get into good stead here around the Jeddah Corniche circuit. It's going to be a difficult, I think, time, but... Thomas Angersim Racing, they have been competitive and they're going to be looking for more of the same tonight. But tackling the very first lap of the weekend so far, up to that line, you see, they run and try and get as much speed as they can down the straight and brake as late as they can in towards turn number 1, sling it through this tricky chicane. Not easy to get a spot on. We may see a few invalidations there throughout qualifying, and then it really does come at you thick and fast, this section. It's almost a real slalom around the snaking turns of the Jeddah Corniche circuit, and they're all so fast. It is not for the faint-hearted here, and beautifully handled from Paul Adolphs, who's doing a good opening lap here for Thomas Angersim Racing. They looked a little bit better last time out, especially in that race. We've seen them sometimes slip away a bit in the races, but looked a lot better last time out. Could it be more of the same for Thomas Angersim Racing as they're getting the lap underway? And it's looking really good for Paul at the moment.
It is indeed, of course, yes. TES have been competitive, however, they haven't been as competitive as I think they should have been. It's been a lot of down moments for the team throughout the season. Quite a few penalty points they've racked up so far. Have to serve some qualifying bans and some race bans as well, which have really hurt their chances at least P3 in the standings, which I had at the start of the season. They've been tumbling down the order a little bit. So let's see if they can end it on a high as Paul Adolphs comes around the final corner of the track to go across the line. No, actually he's not going across the line. He's going back to the pit lane straight away, so never mind that. Leonardo Tonelato then for ETH, the first to settle up with a 26.6, followed by a whole slew of cars. Tristan Derbecourt there with a 27.5. Definitely a mistake somewhere for him. Thomas Laminen, 26.6 as well. Alex Lamas comes in P4, then followed by Jensen Rausen in for this for now P3 for NLR. Then Giovanni Lanzoni, that's Tonelato's teammate there in P6 as Dennis Langrock takes it from him. Paul Viegas for the other NLR cars, 27.2, just ahead of Tristan Derbecourt as Christophe Gaudor splits the both of those cars I just mentioned. Then both EVE cars are about to cross the line. That's Minjake and Takubi. Minjake goes P5, not too bad at all. Followed by Takubi, who goes a lot faster than that, goes into P3 with a 26.8. So EVE once again looking very strong, and they are looking to really end the season on a big high.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot of really good work, EVE. I think they've been really almost an underdog in the season in the sense that they've just somehow got it together at the end of the season, the tail end, and it's been working really well for them. They've been so strong, and I think they can be really proud of how things is going at the moment. So I am looking super duper forward to how things are going to go for EVE in these final 2 rounds. But first run's done. Leonardo Tornaletto already putting a good stead in for ET8, sorry, at the top of the timesheets. But look at those times. Very close, but there's a few gaps, and you see that big gap between second and third. You can really tell who's maybe pushed a little bit harder on those opening laps and who maybe has gone for a bit more of a banker lap time.
Yeah, of course, notably absent in the top 10 is the entire FVR team. Neither driver has been able to set a lap just yet. Both of them, however, on their way as we speak, as is Paul Adolphs once again. His first attempt didn't quite work out to what he liked, probably. Theo Bones, Joel Marquardt, and Victor Garcia haven't set a lap time either. And of course, both ABS drivers are now serving their qualifying ban. They have both retired pretty much at the start of the session. But yes, Paul Adolphs is coming across the line first, but I think we're going to follow somebody else, and that is going to be Joel Marquardt, the second TF10 driver, the host of tonight's lobby as well. And he's got a big thing on his hands, as he's got to deliver for the team as they can claim the title. Goes across the line to start the hot lap, then just drifting into turn 1 as they likes to do so often on this game. Looking quite steady indeed as one of the Aston Martins moves out of the way. And then, of course, comes the snaky section, turns 4 until turn number 12. Let's see how he negotiates these tricky corners right here, getting as close to the wall as he can. There it comes, the tricky curb, does it nice and easy, slides a little bit coming out of turns 11 and 12, then onto the next straight bit, heading towards the big left-hander of turn 13. 31.8784 for sector number 1. Then up comes another tricky bit with turns 14, 15, all the way through turn number 18 in sector 2 right here. Down to gear number 5. The curbs, nice and easy does it. No touching with the wall right there. Onto the next bit, and the second DRS zone is coming up right at this point. Let's see how he goes through there. Then there's a few more tricky corners to come right here. Turns 22 and 23. Oh, he bumps into the wall, goes off the track, and that's the lap ruined for Joel Marquardt, which means we're going to swap our attention to a car behind him that is on a lap. Byron, who exactly is it? I believe it's Theo, isn't it?
Well, I was thinking of Theo, who is invalidated. I went with Aleski Kovaro, though, who is on a lap time at the moment. He is looking competitive. He's not putting in maybe the blinder of laps, but he is putting in a very competitive lap. In fact, he's actually not that far off Paul Adolphs, who's currently at the top of the timesheet, just went up to the top of the timesheet just a few moments ago, just pipping Leonardo Tornaletto. But Aleski Kovaro, what can he do to try and challenge himself and take himself up towards the top of the timesheet? Well, he'll come round the final bend of the lap and goes fourth. That's a respectable lap time. But that sector 2, very, very blistering, very fast. There's a lot of pace in that FVR in the hands of Aleski. Keaton Lutt, though, needs to get a lap time on the board.
Yes, indeed. His teammate has not been able to set a lap time. He's coming back in again. Keaton Lutt goes into the pit lane once more, stays in 16th for now, as is Joel Marquardt and Theo Bones. Neither of those three have been able to get a proper lap time on the board. So we're going to try and find somebody who is trying to go faster than their previous attempt. I'm currently watching Dennis Langrock for TTM. In the Ferrari car, TTM have been going back to a little bit of a high in the final part of the season. They had their big moments earlier on. Then they had a bit of little worries of a middle bit of the season, but they are back in business. And as you look at that, looks like Dennis is already 1.5 tenths pretty much up on his previous lap time as Thomas Laminen goes fastest overall with a 26.4. Just crossed the line right there. Dennis Langrock, though, through the middle sector. He's right behind one of the AMR cars, sliding through the corner right there, pretty much. It's looking like he's pushing very hard indeed, with the end of the second sector coming up right here. Let's see if Dennis can eat away some more of his lap time. He does. 3/100ths of a second, sliding through another corner right there. But it's looking very stable indeed, although the tires might get really hot from this particular hot lap. We see somebody else improving. That's Giovanni Lanzoni going into P5, and there goes Jensen Rosen going a little bit faster than that. Slides into P5 as well, just behind Alexi Cavero. Dennis Langrock, though, looks like he is going to finish this one hot lap right here. Goes up into P8, lost a little bit of time through the final sector. As we quickly swap our attention to the other NLR driver, Paul Villegas, who just, I believe, crossed the line into P10. Let's see if we can see what the AMR driver, Christophe Godor, can do as he goes across the line. He does go a bit faster. In fact, he goes about exactly as quick as Pascal Senkbeil, but that means he stays in P15, and he needs to find some extra time to get a bit higher than that.
Yeah, going to need quite a bit more time to get much more out of this one, but you know, plenty of time for things to change in this qualifying session. We have got a little way ahead. Passy is about to come across the line now. He's not had a half bad lap. He'll go up to 11th place for the time being. So it is an improvement for the TTM man, but maybe not an improvement to the heights that he may have expected and wanted at the start of that one. I do see, though, one of believe the Red Bulls on a lap time at the moment. Is it a Red Bull on a lap time? No, it's not. It's a Red Bull on an out lap, beginning a hot lap now. I'm not fully sure who is on a lap time at the moment.
Theo Bolnes is actually, as he slides through turn 13, sorry. So yeah, he's actually on the hot lap right now.
Yes, he's really hustling and harrying the car, and he's not going to be on a hot lap anymore as he invalidates there through the tricky sequence of corners. I mean, a lot of drivers invalidate through there. That is not a surprise to see in the world of motorsport, especially at such a tricky point in the lap. But going to be disappointing to not have got that lap time on the board, but John Marquardt at the moment in 17th for TF10 is on a decent lap at the moment, needs to get a decent lap on the board, not got a lap time on the board at the present moment, but is looking good to do so at the moment.
Theo Bolnes is going to try again on the same set of tires, actually. Joel Marquardt still on his way. He's actually in the final sector right now, 59.900. Precisely, to be exact right there. Just one more corner to go. That is the hairpin of turn number 27. It looks like he's going to put this lap time on the board at long last. 5.5 minutes remain. And Joel Marquardt is about to cross the line. And let's see if he can join his teammate at the front row. He can't, but he does put in a very decent lap indeed. P6 it is, as Keaton Lutt just goes a little bit faster than that. And he goes just ahead of his teammate right there into P4. His teammate, though, is on his way. We see a crash on track. That is Alex Lamas crashing out in what is a turn number 8. And that is bad news for the AMR team, who have been struggling very recently with their standing position in the season so far. And Alex Lamas was only 11th fastest, so that's not really going to help them whatsoever. That means all the pressure is now on Christophe Godor to make that lap time work. He's currently last of those who set a time, as we still follow Alexi Cavero. Purple middle sector. It's looking quite promising right there for the FVR driver. About a 10th quicker than his previous attempt. That will bring him quite close to Laminen's time, but not close enough to actually beat him, meaning we'll have to fight some extra time in turn 27, especially. We see a yellow flag in the final sector. I think that might have been the McLaren car ahead of him. Theo Bolnes, once again, not able to set a lap time. Alexi Cavero, though, he will set a lap time. He does go very close to provisional pole position, but not close enough, or not enough to actually beat Thomas Laminen, who is currently on an improvement in Sector 2.
Yes, quite a few drivers on laps at the moment. Noticing Minjake in 15th at the moment. He's probably going to be looking for quite an improvement in this one and hoping to move himself quite considerably up the order, I would have thought, but his teammate as well is on a lap at the present moment as well. Tech Tubi, is just coming round the final bend and now up towards the line. Does improve, 2.5 temps, goes to 5th on the board. That's not a bad improvement at all. And his teammate is pretty much coming up to that same sequence of corners. So what can he do? Tomas Lamina I have no idea how to pronounce it, and I'm going to entirely butcher it. But they come into the pit lane, as does Minjake as well. So that leaves us with only Tech2b and Aleski Colroy on the road, as well as Victor Garcia, who we haven't really spoken about yet. He's had a quiet start to qualifying. Middle of the pack, about where you'd expect him to be. But nothing really exciting coming out of the Tomas Sim Racing camp thus far.
Well, apart from Paul Adels, currently sitting on the second row. Not too bad. Not that far of pole position either. He pipped Leonardo Tonelato by 6 milliseconds so far, as Maximilian can't believe Alexi's pace. Apparently Alexi said he had no pace, but look at that. He's on the front row, just behind Thomas Laminen, who is still occupying provisional pole position. The two rival teams once again have one of their drivers on the front row at the moment, which means it might be fireworks coming race time. That's definitely going to be an interesting one to watch. We are counting down the seconds with 2 minutes 14 remaining on the clock. That means time is almost up, and we'll soon see everybody out on track who can qualify. The pressure, of course, being on Theo Bones's shoulders to set a proper lap time. Christophe Godor, the only remaining AMR driver, trying to improve a little bit more than just P17. And, of course, the top two teams who've currently got their drivers in the top two, but also in P6 and 7. So both of their drivers are right behind one another. And that's going to be an interesting final bit of qualifying.
Yes, Dennis Langrock is going to be the first driver to start a lap, and I don't think Dennis Langrock is going to have enough time to have a buffer in the event that they invalidate on this lap. So this will be the final attempt that Dennis Langrock will have in this qualifying session, and for everyone else who crosses the line beyond this point now, Tech2b will not get another run in qualifying. He will be 5th at best on the grid, so that is good for EVE if it will be 5th, but if it falls like a stone, it could be a difficult position out the other end of it. But Dennis Langrock, the first driver to tackle these final flying runs. It's not a bad start to the lap. It looks in control, looks very planted on the floor, and doesn't seem to be losing time, but this Sector 1 timing board will be the proof in the pudding, and a 10th improvement is not bad going for Dennis Langrock, who would dearly like to move himself and TTM a few places up on the grid.
Another crash, Jensen. Rowson crashes out of qualifying, and pretty much the exact same place as Alex Lamas did. So they're pushing so hard right now. The accidents are starting to turn in left, right, and center. We're still following Dennis Langrock, though. Right behind him is Pascal Sankbeil, his teammate, who we haven't seen for quite a long time, actually, in virtual racing here indeed, and currently 14th fastest. A little bit rusty then, I'd say, because we know him to be a little bit quicker than that. There goes Christophe Godor, follows his teammate, and Jensen Rose into the same corner as well. Everybody's pushing so hard. It looks like we might have very little survivors remaining by the end of this session. Now 3 drivers has crashed out as the checkered flag hits the track right there. Dennis Langrock is about to cross the line. Where is he gonna go? Goes 7th fastest. Then next up, Pascal Sankbeil from 14th up, and actually stays 14th. Never mind that. Then up next, Paul Viegas, the only remaining LLR driver. Where's he gonna go? He stays 13th fastest. No big improvements just yet, apart from Dennis Langrock. Then one of the Aston Martin cars is about to cross the line. That is actually Giovanni Lanzoni, who's actually invalidated, so he's out of an improvement as well. Tristan Derbecourt then for VRM, fighting ABS for last position. They are lucky they can qualify, as ABS are both out of this session. Tristan Derbecourt then goes a little bit faster, goes up to P14. Theo Bones then, can he sell lap time tonight?
No.
He can't. Invalidated again, stays in P18, just ahead of the ABS cars. That might spell trouble for him. Keaton Lutt stays P6. Leonardo Tonelato stays in P4. Next across the line, Paul Adels has invalidated his lap as well. Can do no better than P3 then tonight. Next across the line, Thomas Laminen, a tiny improvement in Sector 2. Can he go faster? He can by 2/100ths of a second. Alexi Covero goes into, literally slides into the pit lane right there, actually. Victor Garcia stays in P10. Who can try and beat Thomas Laminen? I'm afraid nobody can unless Minjake pulls off magic. No, he pulls into the pit lane, actually. Looks like Joe go, my card is still in his way, but is invalidated as well. So 3 people crashed out, a lot of drivers invalidated, and it looks like Thomas Leminen, therefore, has claimed a pole position for TF10, a crucial pole position, that is.
Yes, an very important pole position for TF10 in their fight with FVR, but the points aren't won in qualifying necessarily. They are absolutely won in that race, and both FVRs have qualified well. 2nd and 6th, that's a good qualifying position for them. And with one of the TF10s in 8th and the other one in 1st, there's a big difference there in terms of places on the road, which may well open up the opportunity for FVR to play a bit of strategic tomfoolery as I cut to the graphics a little bit too soon, a bit too hasty there. But your qualifying classification, Tomas Laminen there in P1 for TF10, followed by Aleski Kolro, Paul Adolphs, then Leonardo Tornaletto, then Taktubi, Keaton Lart, Dennis Langrock, Joel Marquardt, Jensen Rausen, Victor Garcia, Giovanni Lanzoni, Alex Lamas, Paul Vegas, Tristan de Herbicott, Passy Minjay, Christoph Godor, Theo, and then your 2 ABS drivers of Patrick Pettis and Marvin Golm, both of whom won't qualify. Well, they will qualify for the race, but they didn't get a chance to qualify for a better place than 19th and 20th due to their qualifying ban. So that's all she wrote for qualifying. Well, there's a lot to unpick there. And, well, the absolute main thing, the TF10 man on pole position.
Yeah, and that means they now only need 13 points, as pointed out in the chat, to claim the championship over FVR, as pole position in this series does grant 2 points, to be precise. And that means they are one tiny step closer to the title, and that is why their pole position might have been absolutely crucial, because every point counts for both teams tonight. So, step 1 is complete for TF10, and now the big step is coming up for the race. Of course, the lobby has to be completely restarted, and an entirely new lobby needs to be made. That means we're going to be quite a few minutes out from actually starting the race. And once we get that one going, we can expect fireworks. Of course, FVR is going to do everything in their power to prevent TF10 from taking the title, and vice versa. Of course, TF10 is going to do everything in their power to make sure they can actually claim it tonight with 1 round remaining. And that is definitely going to be something to look forward to. Of course, there's other interesting things to watch out for. Let me actually quickly grab the qualifying results. Looks like TES have gotten a very strong qualifying tonight in 3rd and 10th, and that might be their road to a bit of a recovery by the end of this season. Let's hope they can definitely benefit from those positions. EVE then, they have claimed P5 and P16. I think Takubi got a little bit lucky with so many drivers invalidating, to be honest, to keep that 5th position, but they've definitely got a strong exit position right there towards the race. VRM will have to fend off ABS starting from the back of the field. That's another one to watch out for during this race. And, well, TTM, to be fair, a bit of a mixed bag. And are, of course, not that bad, but not that great either. 9th and 13th. ET8 have got a good chance with Leonardo Tonalato, though. A big surprise right there for the Aston Martin team. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. A lot of things to cover this race.
Yes, and hopefully we can get things going quite nice and quickly, because I think we are all really looking forward to this one. We really are always spoiled for action and for racing in the lovely, lovely world that is motorsport. And I am super duper looking forward to this one tonight. I think, you know, it's always good when we can have a really nice and hyped race, and we've definitely got all of the talking points, all of the juicy drama, and all of the tea to look at for this one tonight. Hit me with it. Do we think TF10 have it in them to take the title now, tonight?
I'm sure they do, but we also know that FVR have got something in them as well to make sure to prevent it. So that's why I'm saying I'm expecting fireworks. I'd like to see what they're going to try. They need to have their cars together, I'd say, to make sure they can defend against cars from behind, and they're not that far apart. Second and sixth position is not a bad place at all to get going. So yeah, they've definitely got a shot at preventing it, but yeah, I think TF10 have just as much chance to claim it.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. There's a lot, I think, really that can happen over the course of this race. I'm really looking forward to it. I really am. You know, we have a lot of good races. We have a lot of amazing title deciders. These are two teams that have really fought hammer and tong up to this point in the season for this championship. And I think, you know, we really could be seeing, you know, really two teams continuing to go hammer and tong, you know, for possibly the final time. But, you know, who knows? There's a lot of you know, moving parts within this sort of thing. I'm really looking forward to seeing what these guys cook up for the race, because we've got a long 25 laps ahead of us.
Definitely. And I'm looking at the standings right now, actually the results in the spreadsheet. And I'm noticing that FVR have gotten twice as many wins as TF10 had, but it looks like TF10 has been a little bit more consistent. They've got 4 second places, 2 third places, and 2 wins, as opposed to FVR's 4 wins, but only 1 second and third position, and a lot of races actually where they've lost a lot of points, especially round 6. 4, 6, 9, and 10. That was last week, of course. They've lost so many valuable points, which caused their gap to only increase. Especially round 8 was a nightmare. They only scored 5 points during that race and 1 DNF. That might have been the killer for them, increasing the gap by quite a lot. They've been leading the standings, let's be honest. Especially in the first few rounds. But they've lost it a little bit at the halfway point of the season and later down the line. So they've got a lot to make up for. They've brought in their strongest drivers, I'd say, one of their strongest drivers with both Guidon Lat and, of course, Alexi Cavero. So a very strong cannon fodder for them right there. But yeah, TF10, nothing to look down on either, with especially Thomas Laminen being one of the fastest drivers I've known in the past few seasons I've watched from him. So yeah, that is quite fascinating to see.
Yes, it is looking really interesting, I think, for this race. I'm really going to be enjoying this one. I think we've got such a real good one on our hand. We are just getting that lobby restart all sorted. I'm just quickly rejoining the lobby as well, as I'm hopefully getting things working. I've also somehow closed the game in that process. Not quite sure how I managed that one, but I think that may be when I forced closed Steam. But I am really, really excited for this race. I think we have got a really mixed bag on that grid. And once again, EVE, a good surprise. A good surprise from them. They look competitive. I am expecting hopefully good things from them in the race.
Yeah, I'm of course in those in the spreadsheet. Just judging on their results, 8 points in race 1, then nothing in the second race, and there's an upward trend since round 6, where they had their first podium, 3rd place, and then of course 2 races later, the one I unfortunately missed, they got their first win as well, and ever since they haven't scored anything lower than 10 points. So that is really a good job by them. And even P6 is still in their sight. The gap between P6 and 7, that is EVE and TES, is 37 points. That is definitely doable. However, TES are looking quite strong tonight, as opposed to EVE. We've got one driver in the top 5. The other one is way down the line. That might spell trouble for them, because right behind them is, of course, AMR. We're only 15 points behind the EVE team, and that is definitely something to watch out for as well. Although, judging by AMR's latest results, they have in the last 5 races, they've only had one driver score points so far. One race where they didn't even score any points, and then the other races, either their second driver was disqualified or did not finish the race. So it's been quite painful for the team in the Haas car. Let's see what they can do from their position.
Yeah, we've got really, it's going to be interesting. And I do wonder what ABS can do in this, because we haven't seen any qualifying from them. So they really are a bit of an unknown in this entire race. They could spring the absolute biggest surprise in the world, or they could be very underwhelming. It really is. It could go either way. I'm not sure which way I expect it to go, if I'm totally honest with you. I think it'll be an interesting one, and we're going to hopefully find out quite soon.
Yeah, and now it looks like I'm actually lagging again, and I'm finding out that it's because of the game, apparently, when it's in the menu. I'm not sure what's going on. So, as we're still 2 men down in the lobby, I'm going to quickly restart my game, and hopefully it fixes things, because this is an absolute nightmare, to be honest.
Trust the F1 game to give you some problems. But yes, still 2 drivers down. Hopefully they will be in very shortly, and we'll be able to get underway. Just missing one of the ABS drivers and one of the EVEs as well. I think we are, as I said though, definitely an exciting race on the horizons here, and we aren't that far away from getting it underway. Only maybe 5 or so minutes at the maximum, I think, until we go lights out for the 11th time this season, and 11 times going racing. It sounds like a lot less than it is in reality. The commitment and real effort that these drivers have had to put in, and teams as well, week in, week out, really has been second to none. It has been a really great season.
It's definitely been a great season so far. I'm currently in the process of getting the game back up and running. I've never seen it this laggy before, to be honest. It might be a combination of things, perhaps. So, trying to find out what exactly is happening. I'm not sure if all the drivers are in yet. Looks like several others are having a bit of a delay as well.
Yes,
usually we should have been on our way already.
We've just got our 20th driver in, so I think
excellent.
We are just waiting on you to get back in, Frost, and then we'll be good to go. And, well, I am looking super duper forward to Saudi Arabia. The walls unforgiving, the layout, hard on tyres, hard on mentality, and, sheer commitment as well. This is going to be a race where you can really separate the boys from the men.
Yeah, and it's already claimed 3 drivers, hasn't it, in qualifying alone? I mean, both AMR drivers out, Jensen Rausen as well. Jensen wasn't too happy with the game, so maybe it wasn't him. But yeah, if that is a sign of things to come, I'm really curious to see how many drivers we'll have remaining by the end of the race, to be honest.
Yeah, it's been a difficult start to the race for quite a few drivers up to this point, but hopefully, for their sakes, and I say for ours as well, it's not going to be quite that chaotic and problematic this time around. We should be underway in the next couple of moments. Everyone is readying up, and we will be getting underway very, very shortly. I, though, really am, keeping my eyes glued on this one. This could be a real defining race for so many reasons, and I am so looking forward to every single second of this one.
Yeah, of course, the poll coming up soon, which team will win the race. Of course, we probably should also have a poll how many drivers will remain by the end of it, judging by the qualifying. I'm also noticing Jensen is already quite done with this track, as he said so in the Discord. He wants to get the race done ASAP, as he can't be butted with this track anymore. That's what he said right there in the Discord. Looks like he's already not very motivated to get on his way, as he crashed out in qualifying. I can definitely see why that would hurt your motivation and your confidence on a track with the walls this close. We're currently live on track as we speak. There is all the drivers, of course, that need to pick up their car setups. Pick a tire strategy, of course, the intermediates and full wets. We will not see any of those tonight here in the middle of the desert. So I'd say they're either going with the hard to medium strategy, which is probably the best option to go with, as opposed to the medium to hards, which might be used by those starting from the back, having not much to lose. I wouldn't be surprised if ABS would pick that strategy over the other one. as they want to get to overtaking as soon as possible, chasing down VRM for that 9th position in the standings. So the only good thing for them is they are together and they could work together to make sure they cut their way through the field. So I wouldn't be surprised actually if they used the faster tires in stint 1.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see what these drivers cook up here, but we are hopefully very close to the lights going out here for round 11 of this championship, and what a championship it has been so far. TF10 could clinch the title tonight. They need to outscore FER by 13 points, and we will find out now as we head to 3, 4, 5 red lights here for the, well, one of the final times of the season. The penultimate round is a go here in Saudi Arabia, and it's a good start for Aleski Kovaro, who thinks about a dive down the inside into turn number 1. He won't make that dive down the inside into turn number 1, but the intent there, everyone off to a relatively clean start so far there. Oh, I've just seen a Mercedes go sideways. That's not as clean as I thought.
Well, it nearly went airborne pretty much. He had made up like 2 positions already. Keaton Lutt, now he's down to 11. I'm not sure what on earth was happening there. He was trying to get past, I believe, Leonardo Tonelato, who then decided the Mercedes should go above him instead of side by side, which is a rare thing indeed, and then nearly went terribly wrong. But I think Keaton Lutt's car is somewhat alright, at least visually it looks to be okay. But that's very bad news for FVR, as TF10 have now 2 drivers in the top 6, and Keaton Lutt has got a big recovery road ahead of him, trying to figure out what the tires actually are going to be. Everybody's on the hard, except for Dennis Langbroek, who decided to pick the medium tires. Even ABS have picked the hard tires to start out with, as Thomas Lemon leads still with Alexi Cavero in tow. He's getting awfully close to go for that move into turn 27. He's going to have to go around the outside though, but looks like Alexi's carrying a little bit more speed coming into the final corner, but Thomas Lemon is having absolutely none of it as he decides to fight his fellow Finn quite hard there. Another car in the background going airborne. I'm not entirely sure what's happened to the gravity in Saudi Arabia, but we just saw, I believe, one of the blue cars, might have been the Williams, going airborne again. Coming out of the final corner, Theo Bonnes goes into the pit lane. It's absolute chaos pretty much everywhere. Leonardo Tonelato is trying to defend his 4th position and going for the attack into P3, but it's Dennis Langrock actually taking that position from him. Alexi Cavero leads the race, trying to get away from Thomas Lemon, and this Dennis Langrock can definitely throw a spanner in the works of TF10 right there, as he's going to try and take like that 2nd place from the lead TF10 driver. Joel Marcard is still sitting in P6, just behind Paul Adolphs, as Jensen Rosen has made up a little bit of ground. Coming into P7, we see Keaton Lutt there, going for a move for Giovanni Lanzoni, no problem at all. Despite the fact that his car nearly went flying, it looks like it's still in pretty much one piece.
Yeah, really interesting. Everyone off to a flying start in this race, and for literally a few of them, quite very literally. That is not something you see every day on the F1 game, although it is ironic that I was sent a clip of a car going airborne in the F1 game just the other day, and I wondered why I'd never seen it. Well, I have now, and Keaton Lutt really squabbling here for this 9th place versus Victor Garcia and Giovanni Lanzoni, so really squabbling over that P9 place. Meanwhile, Keaton Lutt's teammate Aleski Kovro is having to do a bit of infighting and squabbling as well, as the Mercedes got airborne again! What is going on for Keaton Lutt? This man is going airborne at every available opportunity. What is going on?
I've never seen the likes of it. I'm watching Discord at the same time. People are calling for a restart because apparently it's caused due to lag, which wouldn't be surprising at all. But yeah, we're waiting for any message for a restart or not. It might be Keaton's game itself, because he's the only one suffering from it, and one other driver, I'm not sure who it was, far behind the rest of them. But yeah, it's definitely interesting to watch. It's either it's Keaton's game or it's the gravity having turned upside down pretty much. So yeah, it's definitely interesting to watch this race so far. When I said there was going to be fireworks, I didn't realize the cars themselves were going to be the fireworks actually. as we see Alexi Cavero still leading the race. Dennis Langrock is still trying to get past Thomas Lemon. He's awfully close, but this is not the place to actually make that move work. The next straight, though, or actually it's not really a big straight, isn't it? It's just one long left-hander, to be honest. That will be the proper place to get something going. There they go, all three of them, with Leonardo Tonelato a bit further back. There comes Thomas Lemon. No, never mind. There comes Dennis Langrock. Try and get past the both of them. There's all of the things going on.
Oh!
He's crashing out. It's a restart. Never mind.
Yes, a restart has been called. I'm annoyed. I'm really annoyed.
Getting excited for nothing.
Yeah, it really is. That was... I mean... I don't know what to say. This game is quite something. It is quite something. We have a restart here. We will be taking a bit of time we'll have time to process everything that's just happened in the 4 laps you've had, but also time to understand maybe what's happening, because the game really didn't seem to like whatever was going on there. Something went a little bit awry. I've got not a clue what was going on there, but everyone taking each other out, and we should be gearing up for a restart soon.
Yeah, some people are confused. Dennis Langerock having experienced no lag, but I think it's more like desync. That's usually why a lot of leagues completely make a new lobby. That didn't happen this time, and I'm afraid we might have paid the consequences, as I'm getting mocked in the Discord for my overexcitement on people just plowing into one another. So yeah, there's that. I'm just waiting to see whether Joel is going to be the host again, but that might be just a new lobby might fix these issues. You know, that's something, unfortunately, with this game, and we are more than ever looking forward to the next one. Unfortunately, it's a few months out, and that means the next season of CSS is a few months out, I believe, as well, as the time to squeeze in another season in between, next week and the next game is, I'm afraid, a little bit too short to actually make it work. For have a decent season with 10 or more rounds, I'd say. So yeah. Let's see if the lobby complete restart is going to fix this interesting mess we've seen so far.
Yes. The reaction, very interesting. A lot of talk about playing Microsoft Flight Simulator on stream, playing Rocket League, pretty much everything.
Flight Simulator was definitely was something we were playing now, weren't we?
Yes, pretty much we were playing anything.
These cars do have wings.
Oh, they do, and they're pretty good.
I'll stop talking now.
No, pretty much anything but racing cars, I think was what we were seeing. That's absurd. It's very rare that we see something quite as chaotic and carnage-inducing as that. Just waiting for that lobby restart to be given. Is the lobby up yet? I presume not.
It is,
quite.
yes.
Oh, it is. I shall join you then. Yeah, we've seen some funky stuff on the F1 game. That is definitely up there. That is absolutely up there. It is...
It was literally up there, wasn't it?
Very much. We can have all of the crazy jokes about how, well... mind-boggling that was. I've seen.
We're just
images.
making jokes up on the fly, aren't we? Sorry.
Wow. We're here all week, ladies and gentlemen. We're here all week. That's a lie. We're not. But I love the fact just everyone's making jokes about it, because it's an issue with the game. We can't do anything really about it. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a bunch of jokes, we'll make a mockery of it, and then we will get on with it. And I'm looking forward to getting on with this race, because it's annoying, but we were in for such a good race, and it was shaping up to be a good race, and I wish it was an issue just affecting that one driver, so we could have continued, because that was shaping up to be quite something.
An absolute banger. I mean, literally, with all the cars banging into one another. it was quite fascinating to see. So far, so good though. It's keeping us entertained, that's for sure. Florian asking, do the comms read the chat? Yes, we do, as we just proved right there. So if you want to ask something, you can definitely do that. We're not completely 100% into the game mechanics, to be honest, but still, we'll try our best to answer your questions. All we know right now is that TF10 still need those 13 points to claim the championship tonight over FVR. And if anything... if the race we just saw is anything to go by, it's going to be very interesting to watch. I wonder whether or not they want to pick the same strategy again, because now, of course, the cards have been played and actually have been shown as well. I wouldn't be surprised if some drivers decide to swap some things around, especially Dennis, as he was the only one starting on the mediums. Maybe they're going to swap it around to the other driver. But yeah, we're going to have to find that one out. As we also are watching the poll, which team will win? Looks like the major result came to another team or everyone DNFs. Well, that's definitely happened already. So you were kind of right about that one. Maybe we should redo the poll and see what happens now that the race is getting underway properly, or at least we hope it's going to get underway properly.
Yeah, I'm trying to sort myself out with a drink. I'm trying to tip some Dr. Pepper out into a cup, and I'm struggling very greatly in this little intermission break we've got. We've got 17 drivers into the lobby. We should be getting underway within the next 5 minutes or so. I know I said that earlier on, and look at how that went. That didn't go necessarily to plan. But hopefully this time, no issues, no dramas will be underway nice and cleanly. But I just really want to see everyone, just go according to plan. No issues, no dramas, no flying cars, ideally. Those aren't supposed to be invented until 2050. Or so I heard.
Yeah, it's also taking them a really long time to rejoin the lobby, if I'm completely honest. Who we're still missing? I'm trying to figure it out. See, both Aston Martins in both Alpines, I believe, have... No, yeah. Well, yeah, actually, Takui just joined there. Both RBs, yes. Both Haas cars, both Mercedes, both Red Bulls. I think we're actually missing a Williams. Yes, we do. And there he is, Paul Adolphs, the last driver to join. I hope they both pick their car quickly, so we can set up the grid again. And keep fingers crossed with us in the chat. Hoping that the lobby will stay pretty decent right there. We're seeing some drivers with some low connection. Let's hope that fixes itself as well. But the most important thing is that the lobby is stable, hopefully. And that means a proper race should be on its way very, very soon.
Yes. I just like the jokes, the memes, everything going on in the Discord. The drivers... They really do see the funny side of it. And for drivers that can, at times, be incredibly serious, incredibly, a bit sometimes brutal towards one another, to make a bit of a laugh, a bit angry, a bit of a laugh, a singing a joke about things. It makes for a very pleasant change for all of these drivers. But... Absolutely. It is really being interesting what's going on. Everyone is pretty much nearly there from what I can see, although there is some very interesting things being said in the Discord server. Drivers, I think, are a little bit bored. They want to get on with their racing because they've started saying some very unhinged things in the Discord. So let's hope it's sorted out quickly.
Apparently this happens when the lobby messes up this badly. So, yeah, there's unhinged.
That.
Yes,
it does
much.
Appear.
Even we get unhinged a little bit with our terrible jokes.
well, who knows? Maybe we will take off into the stratosphere sometime soon, a bit like Keaton Lapp did in the 4 laps of that race we had. Someone has said ready up. Giovanni, has said ready up. I believe he is our lobby host. No, Joel Marquardt is. So
Yes, he is. And he just said we can start again as well, so...
Lovely. So, that means it is time to go racing. Gifts are being sent. Good luck are being wished. The drivers, I think, just want to get on with it. They want some racing, and I can't lie. I'm totally with them. I want some racing too.
Yep, we've already seen some racing and some flying as well. But now we're going to see it properly, really hopefully, because another restart, I'm not sure if people can survive that one. I certainly can't. So there's hope it's going to work out properly this time. Yes. On our way at the moment to trackside, with all drivers having readied up, loading the game in, setting their setups again, picking a tire strategy once more. And then we are good to go. I already said I'm curious to see whether they're going to switch around their strategies, making a tiny bit of adjustments right there. Now that they know what the other teams are doing, we could be in for another surprise, Byron. Do you think they will change their tire strategies, or will they keep it the same?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I like the message that's just been said, by the way. No more flying and be clean, thanks. That was the message as they were told to ready up. I really resonate with that message based on what we've seen so far. No more flying, please, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hopefully have no more airborne cars as we build up towards this race. It didn't take them long last time. I expect it may take a little bit longer this time, just so they can pop all of their setups on and get everything ready and good to go. But there's no doubt, if what we had before is to go by, we are in for a good 1, 3, 4, 5 red lights here in Saudi Arabia, and we go racing once again here in Saudi Arabia, and once again, it's a good start for Aleski Kovro. Will he do what he couldn't do last time and dive it down the inside? No, he won't. It doesn't appear, though, that there have been any flying cars that I've noticed so far. We're off to a better and maybe even a cleaner start. In fact, Keaton Lapp, he's not flying in the air. He's flying on the track, and he's trying to make a few moves. Victor Garcia, he's lost quite a few places. It's not been a good start for him, but other drivers making progress towards the top, as Paul Adolphs will lose a place.
Jake also tumbling down the order. Yellow flag at the back of the field. Victor Garcia now all the way down to last place. And you notice probably that now TTM have decided to take both cars into the medium tires for the first stint. So Dennis Langerock once again can try and make up many positions, but now Pascal can do the exact same thing. So I'm curious to see how that one's going to work out, as Dennis Langerock already has taken Takubi's place. Keaton Lutt is trying to do exactly the same thing. He's literally pretty much in the gearbox of the Ferrari ahead of him, trying to follow him through, pushes Takubi a little bit wide, but he's passed either way. Keaton Lutt now up to P6 as Jake leaves the session. An issue for him right there in the second restart. Oh, a bit of wheel banging going on behind them right there. I believe that's one of the RB cars. Jensen Rosen in trouble potentially. Looks like the car though is still quite fine, as he's got Alex Lamas behind, Tristan Derbercourt as well. And the front of you, we might see once again Alexi Covero getting past Thomas Leminen. This time though in turn 1. Yes, he does so quite easily. Almost as if he had his rear wing open on the very first lap right there. Back into the lead once more. Paul Adolphs stays in third place. Leonardo Tonelato still holds on to fourth place, but it's Dennis Langerock threatening the top 4 right there on his mediums tires, as Pascal Sankbeil has gone into 11th place. We also notice Victor Garcia and Takubi as well having gone into the pit box. Takubi is a bit of a surprise for me, as I thought Minjake was having troubles, but it looks like Takubi is having far more trouble there. And there goes Dennis Langerock into turn 13, and no problem at all with the superior grip. Into 4th place he goes, now chasing down the top 3.
Yeah, you can see those starting tyre compounds on the left-hand side of your screen, and that will keep nicely updated as the moves are made and as people change their tyre compounds. But the strategy should be relatively simple. Those on the mediums at the minute onto the hards. Those on the hards at the minute onto the mediums. It should be quite nice and easy. I would have thought, as I believe Minjake may have just got himself back into the session and taken control of his car as the tyre screen flashed over, but Aleski Kovaro overtaken once again, and carbon fibre flies off Dennis Langrock, who's, I believe, may have caught himself on the rear end of the FER man in front, and as a result, he's not going to be as strong in the corners and falls to 5th down the straight as it's nearly 4 wide into turn 1.
That's absolutely chaotic. I was also in the background, Theo Bolness nearly spinning out of control on the straight to the finish line, dropping down the order as well. It's quite chaotic again, but fortunately this time no flying cars. Dennis Langrock has to stay in 4th position despite his damaged wing. He's still holding up somewhat decently, but this might be the point where it hurts most. You can see it right there, losing quite a bit of time in turns 8 through 12, but he's just barely hanging on. But it's Paul Adolphs hanging on even more than that. Very close, Keaton Lutt as well. He's gonna make the move. In fact, the Mercedes versus the Williams. Mercedes having to go around the outside, but there's no chance there for Keaton to make it work. So next corner then, where he's gonna have the inside line. A tricky corner to overtake. Will this end in absolute tears? No, it doesn't. That's Paul Adolphs wisely deciding to back out, knowing that for now Keaton Lutt has got the upper hand in pace. Now he's being threatened by Jensen Roaston for P6 right there. The Williams has been starting from 3rd, has been dropping down the order a little bit, and with his teammate in last place, it might just be another nightmare race for TES. Hopefully not for their sake, but it's definitely Jensen Rosen who might make his life very difficult indeed. Back though at the front of the field, Leonardo Tonelato defending against Thomas Laminen, who's been demoted down to 3rd. What dive there from Paul Adolphs, by the way, who decided to absolutely send it nearly.
Oh, there's a crash.
There goes Tristan Derbicourt. An absolute chaotic moment right there, and no surprises for that virtual safety cars. 4 drivers struggle and tumble into the pit lane. That was absolutely insane, and the crucial thing there, both Keaton Lutt and Joel Marquardt have been involved in that incident for FER and TF10. That is absolutely huge for the championship.
Yeah, huge for the championship, and I'm not sure if what I spotted is correct. It is indeed. Damage to Keaton Lutt on his front wing that hasn't been changed under his pit stop. So,
oh dear.
That safety car as that's a safety car as well.
Yeah.
That's not
full safety car.
Full safety car. It says virtual safety car on the top left of your screen. Ignore that.
Yeah.
That's the game being the game. We are under safety car conditions, and that is beneficial to the likes of Keaton Lutt, but it doesn't really save their race at all.
No, it doesn't. And I think, I'm afraid to say, Paul Adolphs had started a big chain reaction of cars just decided to go pinball mode, which is another thing that has happened tonight. Instead of going flying, they just went into pinballs. That caused a lot of damage to many cars. Some of them completely innocent, as just being victimized by all the things going on. Of course, Alex Lamas was lucky to still have his car in one piece. Same goes for Paul Adolphs right there. And everybody is lucky that the virtual turned into a full safety car, because that means they can now all catch up back to the pack. Victor Garcia got a 10-second penalty there for cutting the pit exit, I'm afraid. He's going to have to pit again. That means the penalty will not be removable. But I'm curious to see what everybody's going to do. There they all go. All of them are coming into the pit lane right now. Let's see who's brave enough to stay out and go for a different strategy. It's actually Christophe Godor. Interestingly, alongside Patrick Pillis, who for ABS hasn't got much to lose anyway. Same goes for Theo Bolness. So 3 cars who haven't got a lot to lose have decided to stay out. And that means now Christophe Godor leads the race.
Yes, an interesting strategic move from AMR to, well, AMR, ABS and Vroom there. And it's definitely not, I think, going to be the right call in the long term, the grand scheme of things for the race. But in the short term, could benefit their teammates, especially if you look at, say, AMR. They've got Alex Lamas in 8th. You've got Theo. Tristan's actually really far down the order, so he's not really going to benefit from that. But Marvin as well could benefit from that, staying out as well, if Patrick defends like a lion. So I think that might be the ploy that some teams are going for. Almost sacrifice one driver for the benefit of the other and the benefit of the team. And it can work. And it absolutely may well work for any of those teams. If that's what they're doing, I do think it will be really interesting. And I do wonder what they are doing.
Yeah, I'm also curious to see whether those mediums can last until the end. If they are careful, they might just be able to pull it off. But I have a feeling that Christoph, Patrick, and Theo are expecting another safety car, judging by the absolute chaos that has happened in both this lobby and the previous one as well. Despite the lag, there were still some drivers who were absolutely fine and still getting descended quickly into chaos. So they are hoping for that to happen, of course. But for now, the best papers are in Alexi Cavero's hands, and that is crucial for the championship, as he now might have the lead in his hands completely. Thomas Laminen, though, not that far behind. The other two drivers for the top two teams, Keelan Lutt, P16, Joel Marquardt, P18, all trying to catch up. Victor Garcia has cleared his penalty, but he's a long way behind the rest of the field. 45 seconds to make up in race time. That is a lot, even on the safety car conditions. He's about half a lap behind. We can see there Paul Adels going into the pit lane again for some reason. Same goes for Giovanni Lanzoni. I wonder what the reason is for that as I'm following them in. Maybe some damage on the front wing he wants to replace? No, he's decided to go back to the hard tires, already 4 laps old, interestingly. Is it a wise choice? Those tires, well, do they last till the end with 4 laps under their belt already? I'm not sure.
I mean, they're going to try it, and it's definitely worth a gamble. If it can get them a race win or get them a really good result, it could be worth it in the long running of the grand scheme of things. But under these safety car conditions, Christoph Godor leads the way. We should be back under green flag conditions at the end of this lap. I would expect Patrick Pillis in behind, in second place. And then you have Theo Bolnes, who's got a 3-second time penalty. So can't really consider Theo the biggest of factors in the race, but absolutely could have a seismic impact in terms of holding up drivers and playing a role to either benefit his teammate or go all guns blazing at a shot of glory for himself when it's almost like fighting for a wooden spoon.
I like that that figure of speech right there. We saw Marvin Gorm for some reason drop a position. Now he's down to 11th, and we can see Min Jake. He's just teleported away. Not sure where he is right now. He's suddenly back into P8. He was really slow there, and now suddenly he's teleported back to 8th position. So already more trouble on the horizon, potentially for this lobby as well. But we're 6 laps in. I doubt the restart will happen. There we go. Min Jake is just having connection issues once again. He's back out of the session. He's going to pray for the safety car to stay out for another lap, which is likely to happen, I'd say, because they're already around the final corner.
Yeah, another lap of safety car, so waiting for Victor Garcia, who will be the final driver in our grid. We still haven't lost a driver, which I think is really surprising. We are 7 laps in. We haven't lost a driver in the grid at the moment, and long may that continue. It's always good when you have a full house on the road, but I think we've got a real mixed bag now in terms of what people are trying to do. Christoph and Patrick and Theo, they're almost in a completely different race. But then there's a pack towards the back as well that are also in a bit of a different race as well. So there's a lot riding on this race, and with championships on the line and places up for grabs, it is well, it's going to be really interesting as Min Jake rejoins once again.
There he is. So he's lucky the safety car is still there. And I'd say Victor Garcia will be very happy too. He's cleared all his penalties. He's now joined the back of the field. He's at the tail end. P20 TS once again out of the points. No good news for them. Paul Adels and Giovanni Lanzoni have decided to gamble to go back to the hard tires they originally had. Same goes for Tristan Derbecourt. Their tires now equally as old. The top 3 on their original tires too, but they haven't swapped them around. Alexi Cavero all the way down to Paul Viegas on different tires to what they started to. Dennis Langerock and Pascal Sankbeil, of course, started on the mediums. They are now on the hards, and they might benefit from that later down the line. So potentially TTM in a really good position depending on what happens next. We'll find out soon as the safety car enters Sector 3. On to the next DRS bit right here with Christophe Godor leading and now being able to determine the pace as the safety car is finally coming in at the end of this lap. It's been a long wait. I've never seen the safety car out for this many laps, to be honest. And especially around a track like this, it felt like an eternity. But at long last, Christophe Godor will lead the field from Patrick Pillis, Theo Bones and Alexi Cavero. Let's see what happens at this race restart under safety car conditions. When is Christophe Godor gonna go? He's still weaving a little bit as they come onto the main straight. He's still not pulling down the power, still taking it slow, still taking it easy. We see some carbon fiber in the background flying over already, so disasters are already causing there. And we are back underway at long last. Might be 3 wide in turn 1 as Alexi Cavero wants to make shot work of those on the hard tires who haven't swapped around. Leonardo Tonelato is trying to follow suit, and he just barely manages to do so. This is crucial as Thomas Laminen is actually losing positions there. He's actually down to P9. This is a disaster for TF10 as their rival has escaped already in the lead of the race again. Only a few corners in the race. Crucial overtakes there for FVR. Alexi Cavero, their hero at the moment. Thomas Laminen flopping down to 0 already into 9th place. We can see more moves happening at the front of the field. Alex Lamas now right behind his teammate and ahead of Theo Bulnes. Min Jake, he is still in the lobby. So far so good, making a move almost for P5 right there. I wonder what the AMR drives are going to do, whether they're going to swap positions very soon or not. This might greatly benefit their team as Alex Lamas is very close to a podium on those fresh medium tires. There goes Min Jake on Theo Bulnes. Up into P5 he goes, but we're watching. There we are then. That's a switch there between the AMR drives. They literally went through one another. Potentially some lag for Christophe right there. Minjay coming up behind. But crucially, we're watching Thomas Laminen, who might be into some more trouble again. Behind him, Dennis Langerock, Paul Viegas, some others are lining him up for a move. It looks like the Finn is in big trouble. There is the RB, of Paul Viegas as Dennis Langerock goes into P9. Laminen down to 11th. What is going on there with the pole sitter?
Yeah, he seems to be really struggling at the moment in this race. I do wonder what's going on. Is there an issue with the car? Is the other TF10 is having an issue as well? Joel Marquardt
the front right
in on 15th, and yeah, damage, which I think will probably also be why Keaton's struggling. There's another safety car as Theo is the first retiree of the day, and he's crashed there on, I believe that's going to be turn 7 or 8. For him. So the first retirement of the race, we only did about a lap and a half of racing.
Yeah, not even that. Wow. Alexi Cavero, that was huge from him. Leonardo, Alex, Min, Jake, Jensen all followed suit. They are now the top 5 leading the race. But with this safety car, was that beneficial for them? Might just be that they are now that they now will be able to stretch those mediums until the end of the race, actually. Christophe, Patrick Pillis are now the 2 remaining from the original stint as Theo Bonas has crashed out of it. I wonder if they are now going to come in. I suppose they have no choice anymore, which I think this safety car came a bit too early for their likings. So yeah, 2 safety cars in the span of, 3 or so minutes. With Alexi Cavero leading. I wonder what the top 5 is going to do, whether they're going to swap tires again for a fresh set of mediums. That will definitely make them go to the end of the race with a little bit of pace left by that time. So let's find out. As they go through the final corner, they decide to continue onwards. Minjake for a little moment there thought about going in, but Christophe Godor and Patrick Pillis, of course, have no choice. This is the one and best opportunity for them, really. Whoa, Christophe Godor just comes to a standstill right there, entering the pit lane. Many others follow suit, especially those at the back of the pack going for a fresh set of tires. That might be very smart from them, actually.
Yeah, I'm not sure quite why my game has elected to not show me who's in the pits or show me the penalties. Thank you, game. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate it when you just don't... Oh, when you're on the penalties, it doesn't show you that. That's really odd. suppose it kind of makes sense, but hey. But under this safety car, Aleski is absolutely in a really great place here. He's got pretty much a clean road now. He can dictate the pace, can really control the race, and TF10, 9th and 18th.
Ouch.
It's not looking good.
No, but the good news for Thomas, he's now on fresh tires and he's replaced his front wing because that was definitely harming him so much. I think that was the carbon we saw flying when the safety car went in on the main straight right there. That's what caused him all of the trouble, and it was so crucial for TF10 there to have him back up the field alongside Alexi Cavero, but that is not meant to be, unfortunately. Now they might have to rely on Joel Marcard. He's 9th place. That's a lot better than Thomas Laminen at the moment, but he's got fresh tires. Everybody from 13th downwards has swapped tires. Marvin Golm back onto his old hards, which are now 4 laps old. Not that old. Some of those laps have been driven under safety car conditions anyway. The field is together, but the safety car, I think, will stay out for 1 additional lap. And then we'll be going underway again. 10 laps in so far. The majority, I feel, are under safety car conditions.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, we're nearly halfway in this race. Have we done any laps of racing, gentlemen? Have we even done any proper laps of racing? Because it really doesn't feel like it at the moment. I mean, at this rate, we're going to hit the limit of number of safety cars you can have.
What's it for?
I think it is. I think it's 4. And we aren't that far off of it. We've had, what, a virtual safety car, a safety car, another safety car. So I believe that would mean we'd only have 1 more Bert Mylander or VSC intervention until the game just gives up. It just lets all chaos and carnage let loose. Which isn't very realistic, but hey-ho. I think we are in for an interesting restart, though. Quite a few drivers out of position. You've got Alex Lamas, who's kind of in that 3rd place, which maybe should be in on merit, but has been had the advantage of. Aleski Kovro, not sure if you just caught that on your screen, teleported in front of the safety car.
I'm not sure if I saw that.
This game gets weirder and weirder by the minute.
You know who else is out of place? Actually, Minjake started 16th, up to 4th, and so far he's still in the lobby. So it looks like his connection might have stabilized. So let's hope for his sake it remains that way, because it was absolutely flying, actually, at the first restart.
Yeah.
At the first safety car. So there's hope for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that could be another really solid result for EVE. Because his teammate isn't that far off either. Tech Tubi, is in 8th. So, you know, it's not like they're a million miles off the money here. They are in really good places where they could absolutely capitalise. And the safety car will be in on the end of this lap. So, strategically, I think EVE are in a good place. But we've seen it once before, and many a time before, where we big them up. We say, oh, this is a race, it will really go in their favour, you know, strategic, yeah, they've got a spot on, something will happen, and it's all gone out the window. So let's not count our chickens too early, because I think anything is still possible, even if we do have another 3 safety cars up until lap 24.
There they go, around the final corner. Let's indeed hope we won't jinx anything else tonight. Alexi Govera especially has got it all to lose from the lead of the race. He does get a brilliant restart though, a big gap to 2nd place. Alex Lamas is definitely on it. So is Jensen Rosen trying to attack Minjake into turn 1. He's going to have to go around the outside. Is that going to work? Well, they're still side by side, so it's only worked half so far. Minjake's now got the inside line. He's keeping his ground against a driver that has been faster throughout the race so far. Stays in 4th position. Very impressive by the Alpine driver right there. fending off Jensen Rosen, who's still hounding him through the end of Sector 1 right there. Same goes for Dennis Langbroek, getting ever closer, but he's got another NLR car behind. That's Paul Viegas, who's actually going for a move as well. Same goes for Jensen Rosen. 2 battles in one view right there. Jensen Rosen still can't get past Minjake, but Paul Viegas can get past Dennis Langbroek, and he could now try and help out his teammate in trying to get further in front of the rest of the cars on those medium tires, which of course they are 7 or 8 laps old, but most of those laps have been driven in the safety car conditions, so you can just subtract 5 or 6 laps from that counter right there, as they still, I think, are quite fresh.
Yeah, they will be quite fresh. Minjake with definitely a warning there for track limits as he went through, I believe it's turns 23 and 4, but don't quote me on it. I don't know my corner numbers off by heart around this circuit. You can't forgive me for that, because there is 27 of them. I can tell you that for free and for certain. Keaton Lutt battling with Patrick Pillis over 13th place. That, I think, sums up his race so far, including the original race that we had. But no real moves down the straight there on that occasion. Everyone relatively stable. Tristan de Herbecourt nearly made a move on Patrick Pillis. In fact, Keaton Lutt is about and does make a move on Victor Garcia. That'll invite Patrick Pillis into the fold. It's 3 wide! What on earth at all? It's gone in disaster. That was totally not unexpected at all. Yeah. Wow. Who would have seen that one coming when you try and go 3 wide through there? However, it has removed the safety car message in the top left, so I suppose we can be thankful for that, as Passy has also made a mistake into the hairpin. I believe he may have damage to his front wing as well as a result. He doesn't, actually, so he can continue on in this race. He will be a few seconds back, but if anything, that brief yellow flag helped us because it got rid of that pesky message in the top left.
Definitely, but I'm not sure what their thought process, to be honest, as we see Minjake hounding Alex Lamas for the podium place of P3. Same goes for Jensen Rosen. There goes Minjake. He's going to have to go around the outside. Alex Lamas has got no choice but to nearly attack Leonardo Tonelato for 2nd place. But there goes Minjake into the podium. Huge cheers then, I'd say, in the EVE pit box right there. And there comes Jensen Rosen, now trying to get past Alex Lamas.
Oh, it's another one!
Minjake in turn 1. Leonardo Tonelato is getting caught by surprise, and Minjake now takes 2nd place. The miracle might just happen again every time a night race is driven. EVE just completely shines tonight with Minjake, with all the connection issues, everything and the bad things happening to him from 16th, 3 times disconnect. But look at him right there, driving in 2nd place like nothing's happened at all.
Yeah, he's really not had the rub of the green up to this point in the race, but it is shifting in his direction a little bit. You know, with obviously the time to get him back into the lobby, it's worked in his favour ever so slightly, and you know, he's in a great place in this race at the minute. I just really hope that they're on the right strategy, that no mistakes are made. He's racing so well, and this is great for EVE. They've been a team that we have seen struggle, and so many a time. To see them really in good form, good stead, and fighting for some good points as well. It's always great to see, but do not count out the man alongside Leonardo Tonelato.
Absolutely not, no. He's going to try and come back. He nearly went for it in the final corner, but he's going to have to stay behind. We see Alex Lamas going defensive on the inside just behind them, as the other NLR car of Paul Viegas is going to try and get past. There comes Minjake as well for the lead of the race. There they go once again. Leonardo Tonelato has decided to go for it as well. He can't do the job though, but it looks like a poor exit for Alexi Guevara, allowing Leonardo for almost another opportunity to go into the lead. But it's now Minjake leading the race, something I certainly wasn't expecting after what happened throughout the race so far. We're on lap 15 right now. EVE once again leads the race. They've got another driver in P8. This could be another stellar result for them. And let's see if they can keep this rise to the top right there. for the next season as well. But this is brilliant stuff so far from Minjake. Nobody's got an answer to his pace so far. Dennis Langrock defends once more against Paul Viegas right there. Stays into P6. Paul Viegas now down to P7. He's going to have to try again later down the line. But yes, this race is absolutely on its head right now.
Yes, and it's always good when we've got that real variety in the race where everything changes and really you can't predict anything from it. I mean, you wouldn't have got me predicting an EVE to be leading the race on lap 15. Not a chance. You know, this is really, really good stuff. Minjake having to really fight this, and they are really fighting hammer and tong for these places, and it's great. Minjake will fall to third, but he's not got the benefit that, you know, he had along that long straight in the past where he's had that DRS, so fall to fourth. But look at the way they squabble in towards turn number 1. Aleski Kovro nearly getting overtaken by Leonardo Tornaletto. And Jensen Rowson having to think about Minjake as well, as yellow flag caused by Marvin Gull. So once again, the ABS woes continue here tonight. But Minjake, in good form, in good stead, looking very much in the hunt. But this top 4, they are very, very evenly matched.
Yeah, and as much as people want to see another EVE win, FVR definitely wants their race win as well, because this is a brilliant opportunity for them. We see Thomas Laminen has fallen behind thanks to Tristan Derbecourt and some fighting in the front group, though. They've once again connected to the front of the field. Joel Marquardt is trying to get up the field as well, but he's got Keaton Lutt on fresher medians right behind. So a big battle could be coming up for that position as well. We see Alexi Cavero leading the race. Jensen Rosen, Minjay getting awfully close to Leonardo Tonelato, who's got a little less than ideal exit out of turn 24, and there they come once again for the lead of the race. Leonardo Tonelato's got no choice but to attack Alexi Cavero for that first position. There he goes into the lead, or actually he doesn't, because Alexi has defended quite brilliantly. He's gonna have to try again, but there's Jensen Rosen with an almighty lurch to the left side of the track. He's gonna then try to take the lead, and he does take it right there. Minjake tries to have another go at the fin in the FVR car right there. Can he do it around the outside? Does he get back into the podium places? He does, but Alexi Cavero has got something to say about it. Tries to go around the outside. Oh, he goes off the track a little bit right there. Will it be an illegal overtake? Looks like it doesn't. It's not an illegal overtake. He does have to yield right there. Chaos unfolds because of it. Alex Lamas now hounding Alexi Cavero. This is not something FVR needs. Yes, they need the points, but they need to be careful, because any mistake right there and Joel Marquardt will be all over the place, as Keaton Lutt does try to get past the Red Bull right there. More points on the line for both championship rivals. There goes Keaton Lutt trying to get past the German right there. Is it going to work out for him? Joel Marquardt doesn't give up just yet. He knows what's at stake. The title is at stake. In fact, that's a humongous thing as Giovanni retires on the track, and we get another Virgin safety car neutralizing the race.
Is there going to be anything that we don't get in this race to cause a little bit of chaos and carnage? I'm sorry that I say Aleski Kovro and not Alexki. How do you pronounce it? Sorry.
Alexi.
Alexki.
Like an X.
Alexki.
Alexi.
Alexi. There you go. Right, I will get my pronunciations on top.
So yeah, virtual safety car having neutralized quite the brilliant battles going on all over the track, to be honest. Joel versus Keaton, of course, the top 3 or top 4 fighting for the win. Alex Lamas was just hanging back peacefully right there. Now Jensen Rosen is leading the race, and he might be up for another NLR victory, 2 in a row, would be quite something for them. No matter how you look at it, all of these drivers in the top 4, Byron, have got a lot to gain from winning this race, to be honest.
Yes, huge gains to be had. FVR with Alexi. Oh my god, I'm really going to be bad at this. Alexi. Alexi. There you go, yes. Alexi. There you go. Back to green flag running. There we go. And Alexi is doing decent. It's going to take a while for me to get used to actually getting these pronunciations right. That's going to be my off-season homework, is get some pronunciation training for all of the weird and wonderful names that we get, because otherwise I am going to be absolutely useless. It is really, really difficult when you're British, I guess, I suppose. But back to green flag running, and well, no real moves thus far, but this is the first time they'll get to open that rear wing back under green flag running, and they will get a real good taste of it, as you see Dennis Langrock trying to battle here with Keaton Lutt, and that battle between Keaton Lutt and Joel Marquardt going to continue once more, but Keaton holding that 8th place for now. But look at the speed that Joel has down the straight. He's got an opportunity. Oh, it's all tangling up. There's quite a few cars involved.
Chaos.
Yeah, that's not ideal. Dennis Langrock losing a few places there. Joel get involved in that incident as well, as was Keaton, and I believe Pal Vegas as well was involved in that. So, yeah, it is really quite chaotic at the moment, as Joel is really close on the back of Keaton Lutt here, and I do wonder if that Mercedes has a little bit of damage.
It does. Front right wing part is very much damaged, and that is big trouble there for Keaton Lutt. He's going to have to hold on through the corners right there. He's losing an awful lot of time. That incident with Dennis Langrock and potentially Joel Marquardt might have cost FPR some crucial points to the championship. This is a dream for Joel. I'm looking at his front wing, and that one seems to be perfectly fine, at least from our point of view. So he is going to have to get past Keaton as soon as he can. Otherwise, he might lose connection to the top 6, which are starting to drive away. Speaking of the top 6, Minjake awfully close to Leonardo Tololato. Alex Lamas hanging in behind. There comes Leonardo on Jensen Rosen. 3 wide, in fact, through the final corner. Who's going to carry the most speed? It is Leonardo for the time being. But there is Alexi Cavero getting past the race leader as well. Jensen back down to 4th place. Alex Lamas still watching on, as we might have another 3 wide in turn 1. A bit of a bumpy right there from Minjake and Alexi. Into turn 1 they go again. There might be some more chaos happening right here, as Minjake gets ghosted there. Gets back past Alexi. No, he yields into 3rd place. He goes. Alexi back in 2nd. And now it's Leonardo Tololato leading the race for sure. But there's still 5.5 laps, I have to say, to go. And Victor Garcia crashes out of the race. And
a safety car! Oh my!
To swap things around again.
Why? What are we going to have any racing? We've spent so much of this race under safety car. Oh, dear me. Why? Why can we not have just a few laps of clean racing before someone bins it in a wall and calls it quits for the day? Lap 20 of 25. And we've got this is our 5th safety car interference. We've had 2 virtual safety cars and 3 safety cars in a 50% race. What?
It just shows us how chaotic this all is, isn't it? I'm sure everybody's going to come in. That might be a saving grace for Keaton. However, he's going to have to stay in the pit lane for a little bit longer to change that wing. Although I doubt whether he's going to do it or not. With only a few laps of racing remaining, he might just leave the damage on the front wing. We're going to find out now, as they all come around the final corner. No surprises there. Everybody's coming in for a set of
Who
soft
gambles?
tires, no
Someone's going to gamble.
Well,
it's
yeah,
Tomas.
Oh, that is
look at Keaton Lutt. Keaton Lutt getting severe collision penalties as he slipped down the inside of a few cars. The team aren't even properly ready for him, so he's having a slower pit stop. He's got a penalty to contend with. It has all gone a bit pear-shaped for FVR with Keaton Lutt. And, TF10 lead the way because they've taken that gamble, as has quite a few other drivers. You've got the top 3 all having taken that gamble. Yep. Oh, is it going to pay off?
Well, Thomas is lucky because now he's got Tristan and Christoph as a bit of a buffer from the cars behind. Leonardo, of course, wants to win as well. That might be a problem for Alexi. However, TF10 will have more cars with more points now that Keaton Lutt has been demoted down to 13th. Got a 10-second time penalty, which I do not know. I haven't seen the incident, whether it's going to be removable or not. That is serious trouble and an unnecessary risk, to be honest, taken by the FVR driver right there. They have the championship potentially back in their hands, and now it might be completely out of it. As Thomas leads the race, taking that huge gamble, he is going to do every single thing possible in or maybe a little bit out of the rule books to keep as many points available to him coming end of this race. So that is definitely something we're gonna have to keep our eyes on. Alexi Cavero, P5, Thomas Lamminen, P1, Joel Marquardt, P9, and Keaton Lutt, P13.
Yeah, we said earlier about how separating the boys from the men and how this circuit does it. This restart is going to do it as well, because there's a lot of drivers who are going to be trying to make their way through drivers who have been on medium compound tyres for a decent time of this race. And making those overtakes is going to take a lot of commitment from these drivers. And it's not going to be easy. It really isn't going to be easy. I expect it will be a bit of a dive into turn one. It's not going to be as easy and plain sailing as these drivers may like it, but that's because the top three are going to be fighting hammer and tongue for these places, because they full well know there's only going to be 2 laps of racing. The less positions they lose, the more points they could possibly gain through having stayed out. So we really are in a very interesting situation, a very different situation to what we have seen in the past. And I am really, really excited to see what is going to happen here. Thomas Lamminen probably going to lead us away from this restart, but based on how things have gone so far, you could never seem to guarantee anything as they light up the rears, and I expect this will be our last lap on the safety car.
As we stand, with Thomas scoring 35 points, Alexi 20. If it finishes like this, TF10 are champions no matter what. So, it is crucial for Alexi to move up as soon as he can, because Thomas Lamminen has literally got the trophy in his hands for the team. We've already got a driver's champion, by the way. That is Mark Schluter, also from the TF10 team. But of course, more important is the team champion. Right now, as I said, Thomas Lamminen has got it all to lose, literally, as the safety car is about to come in. And then we'll only have 3 laps of racing. Lap 23, 24, and the 25 coming up. 2 of those are with DRS conditions. So, yeah, this is going to be an absolute humongous firework. Come up, strap yourselves into your seats, grab a huge bucket of popcorn, because this is going to be a good one. There they go, weaving around the track on to the final sector. They all are right now. 17 cars remain. Theo Bones, Giovanni Lanzoni, Victor Garcia are all out of this race, but none of them are playing a part in the championship fight. It is Thomas Lamminen and Alexi Cavero. We're going to have to keep our eyes on Joel Marquardt on fresh softs as well. Jensen Rausen has decided to go for the mediums. So has Paul Villegas. So the NLR are doing a different strategy to the rest. But this is the one we're going to watch. Thomas Lamminen still going very slow. He wants to go as late as possible to keep them behind as long as he can. He's going to have to pick the right moment. He does pick a good moment, but it looks like Tristan Derbeck-Court has also been very much awake, as now he's got a perfect opportunity into turn one. Behind them, more people are going to make their moves. There's Leonardo Tololato already past Christoph Godor. 1 buffer down for Thomas Lamminen, because there goes Alexi Cavero as well. Minjake wants to follow through as well. He wants a good result for EVE, and he's decided to stick with Alexi Cavero for the time being. Jensen Rosen also getting past Christoph Godor as he sinks through the field, the Hungarian right there. Now down to 7th, just ahead of his teammate Alex Lamas and Joel Marquardt as well. Back to the front of the field there goes Leonardo Tololato, going to try and get past Tristan Derbeck-Court. There he goes, round the outside. So much more grip there as opposed to the old medium tires the other driver has. Tristan now down to 3rd position. Alexi Cavero coming up real fast to the McLaren right there. This is a good moment for him to get into P3. There comes Leonardo Tonelato nearly going side by side with Thomas Lemon, but there comes Alexi Cavero as well, trying to get past Tristan there, because Tristan using all of his battery to try and stay ahead. Side by side they go, and he has no choice but to yield. Alexi now up into 3rd, and no longer are TF10 the champions at the moment. 9 points difference, 35 versus 26 points for P3 right there. There comes Minjake. He can throw a spanner in the works for FER as well, and Thomas Lemon is hoping the battling behind him will get much more fierce than this. He's still leading the race at the lap 24 starts. Then now I wonder how long can he hold on. There comes Leonardo Tonelato. DRS is online. Fireworks are going to happen now.
Yes, and I've noticed that when Minjake was overtaking, I believe it was, I can't remember who was overtaking, but he was already on the back of Alexi Cavero and really was pushing that car through the corners. But it's so crucial that Minjake can get past Tomas Laminen now. It needs to be done ideally into this hairpin if he can, to keep within 1 second of Leonardo Tornaletto, because if he can keep within 1 second, EVE could claim a 2nd win in a season. They had never won on PC going into this season, and they could leave it with 2 wins. That is exceptional for this team. It would be such a result to write home about. They'd be so happy to take it, but even a podium would be absolutely a result to write home about. But look at Minjake, so on the back of Tomas Laminen, who made a small mistake there. He's still got the DRS off the back of Leonardo Tornaletto. This is on for EVE, but look at Alexi, who is going to want to fight this one to try and gain as many points for FER.
Every point counts. Keelan Lott has moved up to P8 already as we approach now the final lap of the race. They're going to go 3 wide again into turn 1, because there is Jensen Rosen also trying to claim a 2nd victory for NLR, for his team right there on those medium tires. But Minjake has got something to say about it, and so has Alexi Cavero as they go side by side into the next corner. He's going to come off best. Of course, for now, Alexi's got much more grip. Jensen's got no choice but to yield. There's Joe Molmakar, the other TF10 driver, going into P4. Now chasing down his nearest rival, Alexi Cavero, who's now up into P3. Crucially, Leonardo has pretty much cleared Minjake, and he could be cruising on his way to victory. He's used a lot of battery right there onto the straight. He might pay the price right now, though. Maybe Minjake will get a bit of a better exit, but he's got to have to drive really, really fast to make sure he gets back into DRS range. He just barely manages to do it, and that could be the crucial moment right there for Minjake to claim victory. Joel Marquardt, in the meanwhile, very close to Alexi Cavero, nearly getting past him right there. Minjake, his rear wing was open, but he didn't get that much closer. Now then, onto the final straight, the final stretch of DRS. I think he's going to be too far away. Leonardo is going to be safe. There is Joel Marquardt for some more points for TF10. But Alexi Cavero is going to have to try and get back to the inside. He does so. There they go, side by side. Who's going to come off best? Is it Alexi? Is it Joel? Looks like for now it is Joel, but Leonardo is going to claim victory for ET8. Minjake takes 2nd place. They haven't had that position yet, so brilliant result for them right there. Joel just barely hangs on by 6 milliseconds to P3 from Alexi Cavero, and Jensen Rosen finishes in P5. The rest we'll see very soon.
Wow, another podium for EVE. 16th on the grid to 2nd. That is quite something. That DRS on that final lap really did help Minjake to keep that 2nd place. The pressure was really on from those behind, but what a win for the man on your screen. Leonardo Tornaletto taking a win for ET8. That is quite the result. And quite the way to do it. Get a lot of style, a lot of class in this field. But ET8 going to be very, very satisfied with that one.
Yeah, I've noticed Thomas Laminen and Keelan Lott having dropped down the order massively. Keelan Lott's got a penalty of 10 seconds because, of course, ramming into the back of another driver in the pit entry lane. I'm not sure whether that's removable or not. Otherwise, he will finish P6, which will mean more points for FVR. However, judging by this, FVR TF10 is still not the champion. They've gained 5 points in total with the pole position of Thomas Laminen on FVR, which is not enough to claim that title. Leonardo then wins, Minjake seconds, Joel Marquardt P3, Alexi Covero P4, Jensen Rosen P5, then Dennis Langrock, Alex Lamas, Paul Adels, Tristan Derricourt, and Pascal Sangbaal rounding off the top 10, followed by Patrick Pillis from 19th place. Good result there for ABS. 12 for Paul Villegas, Christoph Goddard P13, Takubi, then 14th, Marvin Goln P15, Thomas Lamlin, for now P16, Kidolat 17th. Of course, 3 retirees with Victor Garcia, Giovanni Lanzoni, and Theo Bulnes. What a race.
Indeed, what a race. Let's hopefully hear from our top 3, because that was quite something. I don't know if they've been pinged yet. I really, really hope so. That we can get that those drivers pinged. Let's hopefully hear from the top 3, because I do really, really think that was quite a race. Drivers aren't particularly happy. They were joking and chatting around before the race. Probably maybe not so much anymore after that one. A bit of a difficult one, but we do have Leonardo Tornaletto, your race winner today, in the waiting room. Let's hear from him now. Well, Leonardo, what a way to take a win for ETA, round 11 of the championship. And what a way to do it. Difficult race, a lot of safety cars, a lot of carnage. Talk us through it. How was the race for you?
Qualifying first, I got P4 with my banker, which was, kind of disappointing because I had a good lap in the banker and then I invalidated 3 laps in a row in turn 3, I believe. So, yeah. Well, still, was quite happy with the lap considering, again, me and Joe, we didn't do very much practice. It didn't go very well for him, but still, he got good race time, and I'm happy for him that at least he shot pace. Then race, I mean, I don't know if you could tell, but I was on very low wings. Like,
Yes.
I think I was probably 15 combined less than everyone. And I even did higher the wings after the first restart because the car felt bad. So I just knew that as long as I kept it in P2 and I tapped the overtake button, I would have been ahead anyways. So basically just was full of safety cars. I tried to play this smart, like staying P2 because I knew that in the guided section maybe I wasn't really faster, but on the straights, I was just flying. And then, just last safety car. I timed the overtakes right, and I wanted to take the fastest lap at the end, but I almost spun out of turn, first chicane of sector 3. So, kind of disappointing to not get one more point, but still I won, so it's nice.
Yeah, I was going to say, absolutely. Very good for ETA. Obviously, as you said, a lot of safety cars, a lot of carnage. I don't think you picked up damage or really had any chaotic moments in your race. How difficult was it to avoid all of the carnage?
Nothing. Like, it was not difficult for me because I was ahead. I had from Joe that at the back they was just killing each other. So I mean, being at the front kind of helped, in every race, but especially in Jeddah, like historically, there's always safety cars because of people trying to go for moves. However, the track is, not really made for moves if you don't count the straights. And it's very narrow, of course. So, but the top was all clean, I think. I had a few laps with Alexi. We was just a bit swapping DRS or something. I think, he probably had a little bit better race pace than me. But just the setup, the way I went with the setup just paid off.
Yes, absolutely. Questions from you, Frost?
Yeah, I'm wondering which moment in the race you thought was most crucial for this victory tonight.
Last safety car for sure. I knew that if I put one or two cars, medium runners, in between me and the other people on softs, I would have won it. I think I told my engineer lap 21 if I overtake him and I'm P1 by lap 23, I won. So yeah, I mean I was, let's say, brave enough to commit to moves and make the strategy work, and yeah, just that.
Yeah, this is the second win for your team. We've only got Abu Dhabi left. How much do you think your chances are there for another win?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be racing, to be honest, but I don't know. Might as well give it a shot probably at this stage. I don't know if you're like if you can get close to P3 in the standings, but if there is a chance, and if I see that I have time, and of course if I'm asked to play the game, because. But still, I'm gonna see. But Abu Dhabi is a decent track, so yeah. Let's not count out that I will be here next week. Like racing,
Right.
not here talking podium, because you never know, but still.
Cheers for joining us, and congratulations on your victory.
Thank you.
Well, it appears we aren't going to hear from our second or third place drivers. A lot of, talk. But really, really interesting. Been sent the provisional standings, which have a 58-point gap between FVR and TF10. That's pre-Stewards looking at probably a lot of incidents that are going to come off of that one, which totally makes sense. Going to be a lot to talk about in the stewarding room. I don't really know what we can expect. I can only say that next round, which annoyingly I'm not going to be there for, is probably going to be just as carnage and chaos inducing.
Yeah, 58 points though between FVR and TF10. FVR will need an absolute miracle. They will have to need to TF10 to DNF both of their cars to have a proper shot at it. So I'd say TF10 probably has this in the bag, but there's a lot of stewarding coming up, of course, that might change some results, might reduce the gap, or maybe increase the gap even more. Either way, it's going to be fascinating to see what happens next week.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, this is my final time signing off for this season. This has been round 11 of the championship, the final round of the season. Next time out, heading to Abu Dhabi, another duel in one of the Arab countries, another night race. Will EVE turn up in top form once again for yet another night race in the calendar? It seems like that is the way to go. If there was an entire calendar of night races, EVE would be your champions, it appears at the moment. Can they take once again another solid result, or will we see any other carnage? Could we see FER claw it back? Will stewarding results have an impact on the championship as well? There's a lot of questions to be answered. We will find out the answers to those questions next time out, a week from now, when Competitive Speed Series returns. But until then, when we return for round 12 of the season, the very final round on this game, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.